So in this video, we're going to work on strength of link weighing. Um, so as a brief background, what is strength of link? Hereby abbreviated SOL. Kirk, do you want to answer what strength of link is?
Strength of link is sort of how, like the degree you have access to, say, your impact, I guess. But I don't know, that's probably not a good answer.
Okay, so the way Kirk explained it is the degree you have access to your impact. I think that that's not the best explanation of strength of link. It's a little bit confusing. So the first thing is strength of link is a fictional concept, right? Strength of link does not exist in the real world. Strength of link is a perfect example of debate-specific jargon that only means something in the context of debate. So, for example, the words value criterion, right? That holds no meaning to anyone else outside of competitive debate, specifically LD, right? And so that's a type of word that is debate specific in terms of jargon. Similarly, strength of link is a debate specific jargon. So that's the first thing you should recognize about it in terms of background. Second thing is it was a concept created by judges to help evaluate really close debates, right?
Really? Huh.
Yeah, so the idea of strength of link is that it gives me a way to decide who has the larger link into an impact or into a framework when both of you guys are responding to each other and there's no weighing. So if you weigh and you say this link outweighs this link and that weighing is being conceded, then obviously I would say link A outweighs link B, right? But let's say you're weighing, you say link A outweighs link B, and your opponent says link B outweighs link A, and there's a lot of clash on this issue. And so it's not clear who's right. There's ink on all the issues, right? Then the way strength of link works is that the judge evaluates how strong the ink was in terms of how well warranted was it, how well impacted was it, and how well was it interacted with other arguments. So one thing that should automatically become apparent then is strength of link in some senses invites a little bit of judge intervention because it requires the judge to assess some type of strength, for lack of a better word, towards the link, right? And in this case, the strength of a link is directly corresponding to how much ink is on the link. And by ink, we mean arguments. And so if there's a lot of ink, i.e. a lot of arguments on the link, and they're all high quality, the strength of the link is presumably going to be a little bit smaller than if there's not a lot of ink on it and there's not high quality.
Isn't that indirect correlates then? So direct correlates.
What do you mean?
Like, as more ink, less strength of link. With more, less ink, greater strength of link.
Completely. Did I say something different?
Yeah, no, it's like, you said like directly correlates, but it should be like indirectly correlates where they're opposites. But
I see. Okay, sure. It correlates in the inverse.
Yeah.
That's another way to phrase it.
Sure.
Just to clarify, so that means the more ink there is on an issue, the less strength of link the debater who's trying to win that issue has. The less ink on the issue, the more strength of link the debater who's trying to win the issue has.
Oh yeah, your term's right, inverse, not indirect.
Right? Yeah. Now, that's one way in which strength of link is used. The other way in which strength of link is used, and the far more popular way currently in LD, is in terms of dropped arguments, when there is no ink, right? And so let's say the best example is, let's say that we're having a util debate and I'm judging a debate, and at the end of the 2AR there's 3 impacts in the round: impact A, impact B, and impact C. Let's say impact A and B were heavily contested, and the AF is narrowly coming ahead on impact A, the neg is narrowly coming out ahead on impact B, but impact C was completely dropped by the 2AR. The 2AR just did not give any lip service at all to impact C. And so what that means is that now impact C, if it flows negative, has 100% strength of link. And so if I'm deciding which impact is the largest, there's 2 ways for me to decide which impact is largest. One is based off the weighing arguments made in the debate round in terms of magnitude and probability, and 2 is in terms of the strength of link. Strength of link explains how likely it is that the other person accesses their weighing arguments. Now, another way to conceive of strength of link is as an answer to the question of how probable is your impact. So, usually we think of impact analysis as magnitude times probability, or the question of accessing a link in terms of probability, right? And so strength of link is an answer to that in terms of probability. It provides a great explanation of the probability that your opponent accesses the link. If it's dropped, the probability that the link is accessed is pretty close to 100%, right? If it's not dropped but it's heavily contested and all the links are heavily contested, then strength of link calculations become a lot more messy and they become a lot more interventionist. Any questions so far? Okay. So in this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to compare strength of link. We're going to say that strength of link is the primary metric that judges should use to evaluate the winner of whatever particular debate we're having, be it a util debate, a framework debate, a K debate, a theory debate, right? And we're going to say that it should not be the primary metric. Make sense? So how these arguments would work in a real round. So when would you use this skill? So in a real round, one, it is very valuable for a 2NR on a technical theory or util debate as a method of delineating which impacts are most important or which links are most clear, right? So, for example, if we're having a hardcore you must specify, you cannot specify debate, and the 1AR responds to all the standards in our spec shell except for one, it could be, look, this standard has the best strength of link because it's completely being conceded, which means it's really easy for you to pull the trigger here, especially if the rest of the debate is muddled. Don't evaluate a muddled debate when there's a very clear way for you to resolve this non-interventionistly. Does that make sense? Now, the flip side to this would be you telling your judge, look, I know I dropped this argument, but don't just give him, like, don't take the easy way out and pull the trigger here. Evaluate the magnitude of this link compared to the other links. I'm still winning other links, and I should be able to compare them. Strength of link shouldn't automatically mean they come out ahead on the theory debate. And here's why, right? So the way, basically, strength of link becomes a priori of sorts on the weighing debate. Right? And so we're going to have both sides of this weighing debate. That strength of link should be the primary metric by which judges decide who has the largest link into the impact, and strength of link should not be the primary metric. So this requires us real quickly to have a conversation about what are the other metrics by which you can decide the size of an impact, right? That's obviously size of impact weighing, which is magnitude weighing, right? That's like the time frame, the duration, the reversibility, etc. The reversibility of an impact, right? Scale, scope, etc. And there will be a separate video that talks about each of those standards for weighing. But the point is, instead of doing size of impact weighing as we traditionally think about it, in terms of magnitude times probability, we've introduced this other metric, i.e. strength of link. And some people conceptualize it as a way to answer the question of probability, i.e. which is more probable to happen. And some people conceptualize it as an altogether separate metric for weighing. Is strength of link clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to read reasons why strength of link is the a priori reason we should evaluate the debate in terms of weighing, and then you're going to respond. Cool? And then I'm going to switch over. Okay. I'm very clearly ahead on strength of link on this particular issue, and you should definitely evaluate strength of link all over all other claims that he's going to go for in the next speech. First argument is it's the only objective measure that we have in debate rounds. Everything else is just a subjective interpretation of the flow, especially substantive weighing arguments like severity, duration, etc. This minimizes intervention because it ensures that the judge decides the round via the flow rather than subjective appraisal of impacts. Second argument is strength of link determines size of link, which controls size of impact. This means that even if I lose impact weighing, a smaller impact with a larger link outweighs a larger impact with a smaller link. Third argument is that strength of link first maximizes clash because it incentivizes people to engage in arguments and do comparison between the link levels of impacts. Clash key to education because it's the mechanism by which we actually learn. Also key to fairness because it ensures that the better debater in round wins, not the person who's better at tricks. Okay, take some prep time.